Are you curious on how to forgive yourself for past mistakes? The different events that happen maybe because of what we have done, or maybe what we haven't done. Well, great, because today that's exactly what we're going to talk about. The process of getting through those guilt and resentments. But before we do, I want to welcome you to my channel. This channel is solely based on self-development. So if you want to learn great tips and tricks from getting your life from where you are to where you want to be, please join me on this journey. Now, how do we get over this guilt and resentment? I'm sure between you and me, we have quite a few things that we wish we didn't do, or maybe we wish that we would have done. Now, there's two different types of guilt, and most of us are spending all of our time in the one type of guilt that doesn't do us any good. So there's two types. One is known as a sense of guilt, and one is known as neurotic guilt. And neurotic guilt is where time is not best well spent. So a sense of guilt is where you are at a store, you're about to do something bad, maybe like steal a candy bar, and then you get this sense of guilt like, oh my goodness, this isn't the right thing to do. I shouldn't be doing this. And then you decide, hopefully, that, okay, I'm not going to steal this candy bar. Now that is a sense of guilt. And that is useful because that guilty feeling that we got made it so that we didn't go against that moral code that we have. And then there is neurotic guilt. And that is 30 years ago, I stole this candy bar from the store, and I was 5, I was 6, maybe you were even older, and you still feel guilty for it. Maybe you still beat yourself up. And that's not useful because the act has already been done. You can't erase the past. You can only move forward. Now, if you learned from that, okay, great. Now let it go. It's part of the past. You can't change the past. You can only start moving forward. So for those different things that you go through, if it's in the past, you just got to let it go. Now, if it's a sense of guilt and you're like, oh my goodness, this isn't something I should do, now that's where it's useful. And now for most of us, it happens in two places. It's either I should or I shouldn't do something. Those are the two typical main areas of guilt. I should have went to my daughter's wedding. I shouldn't have stole that car. And no matter what area it was that you either did or didn't do, you got to remember it's in the past. There's nothing you can do about it. And there's some things that I remember even myself. There was this point where my bio dad, he was on the hospital bed, he was passing away, and for some reason I just couldn't cry. I remember my other siblings there, and I remember beating myself up for a few years, saying like, wow, Alex, you couldn't even cry at your dad's, deathbed, like what's wrong with you? And I'm not saying that was good or bad. We all mourn differently, but even if it was a bad way of mourning, I can't change that. It already happened, and it's in the past. One question you should ask yourself is, will this matter 50 years from now? And if it doesn't, then let it go. Now really think about that. Will it matter? Will my crying, matter that I didn't do that? No, it won't. Will stealing that candy bar, will that matter 50 years from now? No, most likely not. So just let it go. And I know if this is one of your first steps towards it, it might be difficult. But once you start breaking that habit, once you start allowing that forgiveness in, it's going to be such a great feeling. And you're going to be at a much better place. So if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one.